Welcome back. And I know I'm always looking towards my stupid dealie, and that's why I'm supposed to put the timer up here. In fact, maybe I should just go ahead and do that now. I mean, it wasn't so important when I'm just talking, because I can just look at my thing here. But here I'm going to be actually into my drawing, and so if it's easier if I look up than rather than looking across. So we'll start here. I'll I'll go with the timer for about 10 minutes, and we will try to go through this. Now, let's go through this. I'm not going to fire up Blender just yet. I'm just going to read through this first, and then I'm going to go to the deal, and then I'm going to fire up Blender. Okay, so click here to read the introduction to the course in case you missed it. Drawing is simply the process of layering shapes, lines, scribbles, and values on top of each other until you get your desired result. In this first lesson, we're going to focus on the process of sketching. You can make a mark on a piece of paper. If you can make a mark on a piece of paper, you can learn how to sketch. You don't need to be able to draw straight lines or perfect circles in order to be an artist. When I was talking about like my steps, where you start with your basic shapes, and then you try to make up 3D shapes, and then you try to go find pictures and trace the basic shapes, and then you try to trace the basic 3D shapes until you had something, and then the next step to that, I think I had written down, was that you would be copying your pictures by making those shapes. So you would maybe you'd actually take the traceable, the one you traced as a guide to draw your actual picture, which is a copy of the actual picture. But you'd be using your 3D shapes and kind of instead of tracing, then you'd be copying. So you'd be copying the 3D shapes that you saw, and you'd be constructing the picture. And that would have been one of the deals. But maybe what I do is maybe I'd still do that as a warm up, not for this drawing thing here, but maybe I should do that as part of as like one of my videos, instead of just like the background, like the B-roll or whatever I called it. Maybe I should do that as a every time I'm doing a drawing one. I don't know if you remember, but I had planned to do several different things, so that each day was a different, or each hour's worth of work was a different aspect. One would be drawing, one would be art, one would be like music, one would be like coding or scripting, 3D modeling stuff, story writing. They'd be divided up into either 5 or 6 days to stand in for a week. And that was my original plan. So maybe when maybe if I'm doing that, maybe that's what I'd be doing for drawing. I'd just be doing kind of practice drawings for that. Or maybe I just use one of the videos, one of the 12-minute videos, just for doing those exercises, just as a warm up before I actually do work on the actual game. It's probably a good idea. But anyways, I'm wasting time here, so let's see. Sketching is the process of roughly scribbling an idea on paper. It allows you to bring your ideas to life quickly, so you can save time in the long run. It's a great way to brainstorm. Okay, let's see if we can increase the size here. And I'm mainly doing this not just so you can like see it, but mainly doing this mainly doing this so that you can see it better. So you can see the picture up here, the different various bicycles this person sketched. It's probably her sketch, I'm assuming. The awesome thing about sketches is they usually blend in or fade away while you continue to build upon the concept of your drawing. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. This stage is meant for exploration. When I make a mistake, I always find ways to use that mistake to my advantage. If I can't, I'll simply move on. Can you tell the sketch above was created using one of the rough sketches above? Probably this one. Anyways, okay, so how to sketch. It's best to use free-flowing lines that are loosely and lightly drawn. To do that, adjust your grip on the pencil so that your hand is relaxed instead of tense. If your hand usually gets tired after you've drawn less than an hour, you're probably gripping it too tightly. I do have a problem with that, especially with like writing. If I write, I'm always like squeezing down, trying to get that control. So I'm gonna try to be loose when I draw. Don't. Okay. It's okay if your lines are wobbly because you may not be used to drawing certain lines or curves yet. Drawing is very different from writing, so you'll need to improve your muscle memory by drawing as frequently as you can. When making an initial sketch, you'll want to leave your perfectionism behind and focus on general shapes. Think about the size, shape, angle, etc. The last thing you want to think about is detail. Now, in Drawbox.com, what he was saying in his first lesson that I didn't actually get to, but I did actually read through it, was that you don't want to draw. You don't want to draw slowly, because if you draw slowly and try to make it perfectly, it wiggles because your hand obviously moves. And you don't want to do this thing where you're sketching like that with multiple line breaks, because it's called chicken scratch, and I guess it's not very good because you want really nice, long, smooth lines. So what you do is you do it kind of fast, you kind of quick, and you just kind of do it. You do it with either your elbow or your shoulder, and less with your hand, because your hand doesn't have a very large range of motion. But there are other ones that say you should do sketch. There was one thing that I actually bookmarked that was talking about, you try to draw a circle and it's not perfect, so what you should do is just do smaller lines. And of course the draw box wouldn't recommend you drawing smaller lines, but instead just work on your circles like normal. But there's different ways of approaching it, so yeah, see, my lines are so wobbly, right? Let's sketch something together. Since this is sketching tutorial for beginners, I'm using my left hand, non-dominant hand, to show you that you don't need to have good control of your hand in order to sketch well. Sketch a circle loosely. Okay, so at this point, I'm supposed to actually be starting on my sketching. And I probably won't get to it because I'll probably run out of time, but I'm going to start by starting up Blender. Let's start this up, and I don't have a problem with drawing sketchy broken lines, because eventually you learn how to do it properly. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing here. So general, actually let's pull this up. Let's do 2D animation, although I'm actually going to load up an animation. So I'm going to load up the, let's see, let's go up here, in this one, test sketch, build test, what was that, build test sketch. Okay, practice. There we go. Oh no, this is the tracing one, isn't it? Let's open it anyways. Let's see what that is. Yeah, that was the tracing one. That's the one I traced. If you can kind of tell here where my lines are the darker lines here, and it looks like the background image is still there. There we go. How weird. I guess what I did is I guess I dropped a background image in there, but I didn't leave the background image in there because that's from the Snoopy comic book. So interesting. Okay, anyways, that's my tracing one. Let's turn that off. You notice here, whoops, That's not what I meant to do. No. That's not what I meant to do either. Let's reload it. Let's do this. I don't care if it's here. Can I just do... I keep forgetting. That's actually what I wanted to do. There we go. Shift and pan is what I wanted to do. Okay, so we go back here. You know, Snoopy here, this is actually not too bad. I mean, it's a little sketchy and stuff. It's not too bad, though. That was from tracing. And so, if the more tracing you do, the more normal the drawing would become. So I think you could get really good at drawing if you did a lot of tracing. Obviously, you don't want to... wait a second. Alright. Here. Always on top. Obviously, you don't want to pretend you're using that as a reference and you're just tracing and passing it off as your own. That's not the point. The point of tracing is just to kind of get familiar. Maybe you're wanting to draw a certain character, and if you trace them over and over again, eventually it'll become muscle memory, and then eventually you'll be able to just copy it, and then eventually you should be able to just do it from memory. Anyways, that's not the one I want to open. Okay. File, open. What do I want to open? That was practiced. Let's see, let's go to the earlier one. Grease pencil playing around? I've been playing around. Let's try that one. No. I'm gonna have to look for that sucker. Let's go to D, dev stuff. Oh, I could just go to test blends, right? These are adventure game test, blend, 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 blend. What? Oh, these are the backups. These are the actual deals. Okay, that's not what I want, of course. Let's go to this. Let's go to test blends. There we go. And doodles, right? Okay, so let's go back. Let's open. Blends. Let's open doodles. Doodles 2. I wonder what test sketch is. Let me see what that one is. That is test sketch. Huh. Interesting. Open. I guess it would be Doodles 2. Right. Okay, so see, basically, is there a way to select all these? Can we select all frames or something? Yes, we can. What if I do that? Okay, select all frames again. Shift. There we go. And then let's delete. See if we can delete these frames. Delete keyframes. And delete. What is clean keyframes? Does that mean clean it? Okay, that didn't do what I was expecting. Doesn't really matter. what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do File, I'm going to save as, except dev stuff. Let's go to test blends. Let's instead of Doodles 2, Doodles 3, let's call it something else. Let's call it Drawing with Darlene. Why not? Why not? Drawing with... And I'm just using that as just a way to tell me that I'm doing the drawing course thingy there. Okay, so thanks for watching. I will go ahead and see you in the next video where I'll actually get to sketching and we'll see what's going on here. So thanks for watching.